And welcome back to Thursday here today at the races, of course. Keith, we are just relishing that we get another day outside.
You got it. I'm going to take advantage of it every day we can get. I mean, I think it's going to get a little chilly
Don't say it.
tomorrow. Next week, we've got a couple good days. We're stretching this turf course out, which is nice. It looks like I think I got a text there,
Yes.
maybe up till the 19th of November. So a really good run. Guys have done a phenomenal job on this turf course and the main track. So we're lucky to have them here helping us out and keeping us on that turf course. It's been a really good run. It's provided a lot of great finishes, a lot of great prices, and yeah, we start out this weekend with a little extended weekend: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 8-race card, and I didn't have anything like monstrous. The last couple days over the weekend, I was confident in some 20 and 30 to 1 shots, Cal, but not
Yep.
so much today. But look at that weather. Mostly sunny skies, 69 degrees, fast and firm in Laurel.
And there we have it. And it sets up the scene really nice for this 8-race card day
Yeah.
that we have here on Thursday. As you mentioned, kicking off this 4-day weekend that we have in November. Let's talk racing, though. Let's talk about this first race that kicks off the early
Yeah.
pick 5. That is 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds and up at the Claiming 40, which have never won 3. Keith, you have the number 7 on top. I have the number 1 on top. You have the 1 in your exacta. Let's go ahead and take a
Yep.
look at both of them from Great Idea and Kenner back on August 4th.
Yeah, Cal, and very difficult to separate these two. They've run against each other a few times, and very not much is separating. Like length, 3/4 of a length. I kind of like the setup. The Great Idea, and both Kenner are going to get. Kenner seems to be has a little bit more speed. You're going to see Great Idea here though. Work it out, get the lead late, sustain that run at 5.5. He tried 7.5, a mile and an eighth after that. Excuse it, Delaware. Last time out against a softer flow, sat there, just couldn't quite kick it in like he's been accustomed to sprinting. I think he's going to get that today. There's plenty of speed signed on. I know there's a couple. Elusive Edge is very fast, the two, and we've got this New York horse. We've got a couple New York horses coming, but the 3-horse Ranger Fox. Reported gelding has only run a couple times in a couple years. That's my concern there. He's quick, but I tell you what, he better have his dancing shoes on and ready to rock because the Elusive Edge, I think, is going to keep him company. So I think Great Idea. Let's take a shot with the horses that have the experience over this turf course. I know they like the sprint. I think they'll both take good trips from a few lengths out of it and make that run through the lane. Volkert's interesting. Mark Henry, we discussed before the show. He hasn't run horses here in like 5 years. He's got 2 today. Both are very live. This one, too, I think, second off of a little bit of a break. Might be better suited to 5.5 to make that run. So if the 2 and the 3 kind of break well, I think we're going to have a little heated battle setting it up for somebody from just off the pace. So there you go, 7-1-3-6.
Keith, you still goes with your locals here in the first race, kicking off that early pick 5 to the early pick 4 we go.
Yeah.
To Keith, your ticket. Let's see what you got lined up for us today.
Yeah, it's very reasonable, $20 ticket. It's all going to kind of kick off here with the 3, Cocktail Dreaming for Kieran McGee. He goes in attack mode. It's usually tough. So let's see if we can get through this first leg. If not, we'll back it up and play a pick 3. 2-3, Volatility, another one coming in from out of town, and Flitter. See if we can see the good Flitter today. Trying the turf for the first time. Spread race. I think race 5. There's a lot of different ways to go here. We're going to go 2, 3, 6, 7, 8. And that's the 2-year-old fillies going a mile and a 16th. Scratch the 1. And that's a little bit of a maze of a race. Race 5, 5, 6, 7, 9. Mr. Arbario will be my top selection in their reported first gelding. $20. I just couldn't,
No.
I don't know if it's going to pay, huge.
Right.
That's the kicker. A horse like Cocktail Dreaming goes down and one of the other second or third choices don't get there. Then you can talk about it, but I just didn't see that happening.
You think it's because it's an 8-race day that you can come up with a cheaper ticket, but I kind of go the similar route. We'll get when we
Okay.
get to my ticket. But I like that maze of a race. I like that. I'm going to
Yeah, it
steal
is.
that there.
Okay.
Kicking things off for the early pick 4 in race number 2, this Claiming 10,000 for the 3-year-olds and up, which have never won 3, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt. Keith, you and I both have Cocktail Dreaming. Let's get right to it. Back at that effort in late October.
Yeah, this was good. I mean, top fig. That was the second off the claim. for Kieran. He's done very well with these fillies and mares off the claim in recent years. I mean, it's been like a little niche for him. He gets them, and they can kind of step up, step up, step up. We saw Super Renee run a big race. And Cocktail Dreaming kind of presses a pretty quick horse early, takes over, drops inside around the turn, repels a challenge to draw off, ridden out to the wire. We're going to have Rodriguez step in today, and they're only about, 40% when they team up together. So Karen does a great job at taking advantage of these condition races. She's a 6-time winner. If she's anywhere close to that, I think she gets it done, albeit at a very short price. Linda Has Spec Shoes is an interesting runner here coming in for Ricky Silliman. Is riding a pretty good run here. Won its last 2, improved, second off a claim. Smaller sample for Ricky Silliman with these horses. Second off a claim following a win. He's 3 for 4 the last couple of years with a 430 ROI. Now, this is a tougher field, but she's had a great trip, tucked in behind the speed. She could be cycling the right way, and I do expect a Ginger Girl to bring a finish, turning back in distance. A rider I like there in Alvelo. She's getting that stamina has definitely increased for her of recent note, and I think she's going to be a factor if things get a little bit crazy up front. She'll make that run.
Keith, you still 3764 there at the start of the early pick 4. Race 3 kicks off the Rainbow Pick 6. Let's take a look at my ticket. I tried to come in with something a bit cheaper, but a $38.40 ticket. This is something, on a day like today, this is something I would surely split with friends here for this kind of ticket. So I try and go in with a single with a horse that you like in volatility in race number 3. Race number 4, 2 deep with the 2 and the 3. Races number 5 and 6. I end up going 4 wide in that claiming 40 turf event in the 5th, and that restricted allowance going 7 furlongs in the 6th race. 2 scratches there. Things help out a little bit there. And in race number 7, 3 deep with the 1, 3, 6. Race number 8, I go with the 4 and the 8 to just kind of tail things off there. $38.40 ticket. But let's get back to what starts it all here in race number 3. Maiden claiming 30,000, going 5.5 on the turf for the girls. 3, 4, and 5 scratch. The 1, 9, 11, and 12. You have the number 3 flitter, as you mentioned, hoping to get the good flitter with Miguel Vera and Toledo.
Yeah, I agree with you. Volatility, a lot of start. 11, 0 for 11, 4 thirds, but clearly you look at the company, that she's run against, turning back in distance. She's going to bring that run. We'll get back to her. But Flitter, I'm taking just a little bit of a shot. I think the other main speed threat to her would be the 7 in her cups. It's so form, in the family. I really liked her first 2. Maybe she just didn't like the blinkers. Maybe she didn't like the front wraps last time. I was a little concerned immediately when I saw the front wraps on her last time out, and she did not really run a step. Just a slight drop in here. We're going to try this turf. I know she's got some positional speed. Looking for a little bit better price. Volatility is going to be short, probably in that even money range. You're looking at the form. She looked like a stone-cold winner last time out at Aqueduct, was just kind of sitting there in hand, prompting the issue. Wasn't even asked till the head of the lane. She spurted away, gone, right? Nope, she just like, I don't know if she was waiting on horses or what. You can talk about that, with your experience of riding horses. That's kind of what it looked like. But if this rider, today, Barbosa can throttle her back a little bit, covered up, and unleash the fury, the 3/16 pole home, she'll probably run by this field late.
I agree with you. It's all about the timing, and you can see it in her form as well. She's just there, but it seems that she just likes hanging around her company, which fair enough. Girls want to stay with the girls. That's fine. But I could definitely see going for a different horse like Flitter at a little bit of value here at 6-1 for the morning line, especially with that one stays at that value. You also go with Get Loaded, Bonnie Lucas, another blinkers on with Ionel Bieto on as well.
Had the blinkers back on a route race. Now I think this one wants to sprint on the turf. This is the deal, sprinting in turf or dirt. And if I remember a few weeks ago, Bonnie Lucas had a horse come in here on the turf, made that run from the back of the pack, a good run, and keying up against Classic Performer, who got the maiden score here not too long ago. I believe that might have been for Sacco. So I think this is an interesting one here. 5-1, I think we'll get somewhere around that 9-2, 5-1. We've got a couple scratches, but I think she'll bring. I'm not worried about maybe what this looks like. It's a step sideways from the class, but I think back to the turf, she's going to have a stronger impact in here late.
3247 for Keith Fustel in race number 3. Race number 4 kicks off the late pick 5, and it is in this maiden claiming 12-5, going 2 turns around here at Laurel for the 2-year-old filly. Scratching the 1 super sneaky. You go with the number 7, Dazzling Demelza for Hugh McMahon. John Ginovello gets the call on this one.
Gosh, I mean, this race just gave me a headache.
Right.
Scratch the 1, 2 turns. We had McMahon a while back had a horse by the name of Cairo Boogie, I think second out, go from a half a mile at Timonium, was not really an impact there, to stretch out to 2 turns and got it done over this racetrack. I'm just hoping. Took plenty of play. You're looking at the breeding, it suggests long. Got the mile working. It's something that Hugh does a lot of. Just throwing the dart right here and hoping something hits. I got 7 when I threw it, and that's what I'm going to stick with. I think the 6 doesn't hurt to flirt. You've got this one 4th. Just comes out of, consistently better fields. And if you can call a 25, 24, 27 buyer stellar, it's stellar against this kind of group when you really break it all down. Chasing, even, this group, the drop. This is the right move for this daughter of Include. I think we'll be kind of hustled into a fairly close position and just keep grinding, and that just might be all that she needs to do in here to get the score.
Absolutely. As Keith, you go 7-6-3-2. You also include Turbo Millie and Sippin' Time underneath, as we do have a scratch on that rail horse. Do remember that in this race can make a big impact, and I think honestly, I think it might impact my top selection a little bit here today. So we'll see what happens there.
It's it's something that Bill even says at these mile and 16th races. You know what? If you can afford it, the first thing you do, box the 1, 2, 3 for $1 in the exacta.
Okay.
That's the most advantageous spot to be. You've got a couple horses here with positional speed. Phil Schoenthal's horse, Any Fool's Gold, might just go ahead and go. I see you've got that one in the mix. Going second time blinkers, so this would be first time blinkers on dirt. Going synth to dirt. Sipping Time, she's just not like her brother Porch Swing, who runs some big numbers going long. So there you have it. In race number 4.
I like that little angle and that little tip that we got from Keith there in race number 4 as he goes 7-6-3-2, and we will be right back after this commercial break for the rest of Thursday's card.
Thoroughbred Racing is taking vital steps to make our sport safer. These include the use of independent veterinarians, strict anti-doping and medication controls, and a single national authority empowered to create uniform standards and enforce reforms. With each step, more data is gathered, accountability demanded, and progress made as safety takes the lead. Visit ntra.com/safety for more.
Welcome back to the start of the late pick 4 here in race number 5. This is a 2-turn turf event here for the claiming 40,000, which have never won 2 for the 3-year-olds and up. Scratching the 2, 3, 4, 8, and 10. Keith, you have the number 5. Let's go to Mr. Obario. Let's take a look at that Saratoga effort in late July.
Yeah, here with Manuel Franco, Manny Franco, and that was first off the claim, and it was a top fig for a barn that's had some success here. We'll get to a stat in a minute. Sat down inside, chased, and just kept on. A willing effort. And they went ahead and protected the runner next time out. He just didn't really show anything. Caught wide, backed up through the lane. Okay, now we're back, reported first time gelding. It doesn't really drop terribly. Key is Actress when he comes in here. He's had a good run with these turf runners over the last year. 3 for 6, 5 for 6 in the money. ROI 983. I think one of the days I wasn't here, he pulled off a price with like a 13-to-1 shot. Really enhancing that ROI. But we're going to try to keep the runs on the Abarios. What do we have? White Abario. Then we had the Abario the other day. The name's Ninja Abario. We caught. Now we're going to go Mr. Abario.
Okay.
Things happen in threes, right? There you go.
Okay, there we go. I like that. You also go with the number 9, St. Joe Louis. For Mark Henning. Yeah. Johan Rosado, blinkers off, and we have Mark Henning coming over to Maryland.
Yeah, and you're just kind of glancing immediately. I look at the figs, and I'm looking at the flow of the race. It was his race to lose last time, and he did it. Maybe this, slight drop in company will help him stay a little bit longer, because I think those tactics are probably what he wants to take in this race. When you really kind of look at this field, you've got some horses that want to come from a little further off the pace. I think the 5, though, can lay close and wear that one down. I really liked Wicked Secret's run last time. Did stay on that left lead, but once it swung out, it finished up quite well. Was going maybe possibly best of wire. Finished up really good there. And opposites attract. Also out of that same race on the 21st, behind Wicked Secret. Took more play than a couple of these horses. Even Crosslane was a big, big price. But I think this horse getting that extra 16th of a mile was a little bit better than what he showed on that day. And he might slip away at an okay price here just off of that last race.
There we have it for Keith Fusel there at the start of the late pick 4. He goes 5-9-7-6. And race number 6 is our jackpot super high 5 race. And it is in a restricted allowance going 7 furlongs on the dirt for the 3-year-olds and up, scratching the 5 and the 11 feeling woozy. You go with the number 10 on top. And Frightland, of course, why not? For Brittany Russell, Jamie Rodriguez gets the call today.
First thing I'm going to say in this race, and I don't have this number on the board there, but Heldish will be used in exactas. I just was going through this race. This is a really tough race. Frightland, I don't want to take anything less than 3-1 on him in here. Even with a couple of scratches, he'll probably get bet down. But I think this little freshening and the 7/8 hits him just right. He had a really good race, a couple races back against Super Accelerate when he was in very good form. We saw that one run. A couple big efforts after that. But Heldish is that second-time gelding angle for Trombetta, has run some big numbers on the dirt. Don't leave this one out of your exactas. I just didn't get to him. He will be on my ticket. Midnight Renegade is a horse that I think holds value in here at 8-1 for Lacey Gaudette. Cal, you don't have this one in there, and I can see why. This is a race you could go a lot of ways. So I'm not gonna fault anybody for not liking this horse in particular. I just thought
this was one I had on and off my ticket.
Yeah,
so,
did you?
Yep.
Okay. I just think this one here, a little bit of a slow start last time on a track that you had to be close. He just had way too much to do. He was down inside giving futile chase. But it's third off of a break. The dirt sprints with this kind of move for Lacey. Good. It's good. 25%, 10 for 20 in the money with an ROI of 271. He's flashed some ability, a real good race at Colonial. His debut was really good with the trouble. So I think you're going to see an improved effort here from Midnight Renegade. If things get a little bit steamy up top, I like his chances to save ground working inside-out trip to make a run. Disputed Claim, we've got video of that one. That's your top selection. Wouldn't surprise me at all if he got it done. Just cycling into really good form. This is that handicap race starter there on Maryland Million Day. Got to the front, 22-4, 46 and change, and wasn't even asked till the head of the lane. And once he did, he responded, and he holds firm late. He might have a little bit more speed to deal with, though, with a horse like Heldish.
Yes,
who can kind of make it. Arden's lucky to be, although he doesn't want to run it, looks like more than 4 furlongs, 4.5 or 5. He can be a nuisance up front if he breaks. He's going to be quick. But Disputed Claim, I think he's shown the ability, too, in the past to make a little run from off of it as well. He's just razor sharp right now. Good Afternoon Oscar, 12-1 morning line. You're not going to dismiss this one at all.
Nope.
Positive ROI, turf to dirt for this barn. 2 back, closed in on Pimlico's track on September the 8th. You had to be close that day. Had too much to do and kept on churning. This one likes the 7/8 and likes this racetrack. Live price shot there with Good Afternoon Oscar. You know what I might do in this race? If this 2 and the 8 hold it fair odds, anywhere from 6, 8, 10-1, I will key those 2 top and bottom and work them with a couple horses in race 6. Yep.
You got the angle from Keith Fusel there in that jackpot super high 5 race with the 10, 2, 7, 8. And let's go ahead to race number 7, this penultimate race of Thursday racing in this restricted allowance, going 5.5 on the turf for the 3-year-olds, scratching the 7, freeze the fire. You and I both have the number 6 on top. This is Fun Notion in the barn of Alexander White. Victor Carrasco just was denied last time out.
You go back, 6 races. You go back 6. Neck, length, 3/4, neck, nose. I mean, you want to talk about just a thriller here. Fun Notion. They might want to change the name. I mean, it's just. It hadn't been fun. It's been painful to watch for the Connect. And he's had some tougher trips where he's had to alter course and keep on going.
Just a trooper.
Yes, he has been. And they took the blinkers off, I think, put the cheek pieces on last time. He's just running too good to lose. We've got a race for Upside Down Man, though. That's on the 20th. And you know, these two have run against each other before, Fun Notion. But upside down, man, down inside this particular date, October the 20th at 11-1. We used the source a little bit that day. Gets sent up flash speed, but then everybody just kind of drops on over, and that was it. He gets in a world of trouble. Probably gives up 4, 5, 6 lengths.
Oh, yeah.
Just by that, into the turn, a steadying, a checking, and a complete shuffle back, basically to last. And why you pick him up top of the stretch, down inside, and X-Man's going to do a good job.
Pushes him out.
Yeah, of working that outside trip here late to make her run behind Calming Storm. Tall order. These are all these kind of key horses have been running against each other. Again, difficult to split. We just got to get a better trip than what we did last time. He finishes up. You're going to catch him here late. He really finishes up nicely. So given that amount of adversity, losing at least 4 lengths into the turn, you better pay attention to him at a 6-1 on your morning lines. So 6, 5, 1, 3 here. I think 10x. I didn't even get to my second choice
Right.
yet. 10x. I tell you what. Third off the claim. Okay, it really reached for the star. I mean, that was just too big of a reach in the Maryland Million Turf.
Of course.
Really didn't embarrass himself, only beaten 4 lengths behind Woody. The Lasix went back on, and a good effort against really salty starter competition. That equates just fine with this group.
Sure.
This horse is going to get a good stalking trip. He's bringing a bit of a finish. I like him here as well for Garibay.
As Keith used to go 6, 5, 1, 3 in race number 7. And our finale here on Thursday is an 8th race, claiming 10,000 for the girls 3 and up, which have never won 2, going 3/4 of a mile on the dirt.
Yeah.
No scratches in here. You go with the number 2. Meet me at the beach for Mario Saray. Georgie Hernandez gets the call.
Wouldn't be a bad day to be at the beach today, huh? Head on down the ocean, hon, and yeah, just check it all out. But no, I've been chasing this one a little bit. The drop is necessary. The break's got to come today. This horse has had some issues out of the gate, has some good speed. I think has the staying power. Run Reagan run out of that same race. They're the predominant speed types in here, along with Chorus Choice, who's going turf to dirt for John Walters. I think she's going to be part of that pace flow. But I think the 2 and 8 hang around. If you're looking for that kind of horse off the bench for dropping on one of its better races, a little spinner will make that run, along with Valley High. The 4 for Claudia, that barn trying to pick it up. So we're going to just you know, I don't love the 8th race. I'm hoping I'm not in a position where it's going to force me as a little bit of a get out.
Sure.
But, you know, I'll probably key around the 2 in there and our man, Georgie Hernandez.
There we go. Georgia Hernandez delivering it, hopefully for Keith there in the last as he goes 2, 8, 5, 4. And let's head on over to Lightning Round to discuss a couple of things other than your value play, Keith. Let's start things off with Wet My Beak. Now, why am I talking about a horse who won on the undercard on Friday? This is a half to John Hall, and this one went over from Grand Motion to Vladimir Sarin, but a $49.60 winner coming and closing here in the Senator Ken Matty Stakes at Santa Anita.
How come I wasn't awake to watch this? Because I had Wet My Beak prior, when the first time it shipped out there to run. Look at this. Wow, closed with a flourish to get up. But, yeah, John Hall didn't run quite as well last time, but I think he'll be back for Brittany Russell, no doubt. But that's a big score right there.
Absolutely. And coming over, this is a Maryland bred who, after returning at 70,000 RNA at the 2020 Mid-Atlantic Fall Yearling Sale, was campaigned by Sycamore Hall, unraced at 2, but came over next, won out at a mile and 16th at Pimlico in a 40,000, but then shifted over to California, and as you can see, has had some nice results. And then we see John Hall making a little bit of a statement on the turf as well. So just something to kind of watch out for within Maryland breeding. Keith, let's get to your value plays of the day here today. Let's start with race number 6 in the Gaudette horse and number 2, Midnight Renegade at 8-1 with Johan on top.
Yeah, we talked about that race 6. So a Midnight Renegade and even a horse like the 8, Good Afternoon Oscar, would fit for me. So approaching that race, if these two hold the value, I think it's going to work. Midnight Renegade just was up against it after the slow start on a track that really favored speed. He was trying. It was like he was running in place, giving Feudal Chase down inside because the speed just wasn't really going to come back that day. Upside Down Man, we showed you that video spotlight of his most recent race. Got in a world of trouble by the time they, left the 5/8, 4.5 into that far turn from like 4th to last, all the way back to 11th. But X-Man got this one back running. Just needs to avoid that trouble into the turn again, and I think he's going to be a factor from off the pace.
And there we have it. Keith Thusill's value plays in races 6 and 7, and we will head on over to Dave Rodman for some more changes and scratches for Thursday's card.
All right, good luck, everybody.